right, so these are our notes on rates. It's just 3 little sections. We're going to fill these out together, talk about them, and then we're going to do some example problems. So make sure in your journal somewhere you have a place to glue this in, titled rates, or if you don't want to title it, it's right here. Okay, and then we're going to be talking about unit rates also. So we're going to practice writing some rates and defining why it's a rate, and then we'll go to another page in our journal and practice finding unit rates. Okay, so a rate is a ratio. So a rate is a type of ratio comparing two numbers with different units. Okay, with different units. All right. So if we look at our example here, a car travels 100 miles in 2 hours. So 100 miles in 2 hours, or 100 miles per every 2 hours. It's like saying 100 miles in 2 hours, okay? So in right here is our keyword to tell us that that's our fraction bar. So 100 miles in 2 hours, 100 miles in 2 hours. Notice that these both have different units. This one's miles and this one's hours. So that's what makes it a rate. Okay? You should know that a unit rate tells the rate in lowest terms, or the amount for 1. I think of the word uno, which we all know in Spanish means 1. Uno and unit are very similar. Okay? So a unit rate, I think of uno for every 1. Okay? So for example, 100 miles in 2 hours. Well, that if I can go 100 miles in 2 hours, if I simplify this, I can divide both of these by 2. Divided by 2. 100 divided by 2 is 50, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. So in simplest form, 100 miles in 2 hours is the same as 50 miles in 1 hour. So this would be a unit rate because it tells you how many miles it can go in 1, or uno, hours. All right, so these are just notes on rates. If you want to fold those in half and glue them into your spiral, and then down here at the bottom, we're just going to write some examples of rates. So let's say that we had 3 inches of rain in 6 hours. Okay, so here's my keyword, in. That's my fraction. That creates my fraction. Okay, so 3 inches of rain in 6 hours. So 3 inches in 6 hours. So I read that 3 inches in 6 hours. I always like to circle my keyword, or you can highlight it, because that tells me how to set up my fraction. So whatever comes before it goes on top, whatever comes after it goes on bottom. So 3 inches in 6 hours, so 3 over 6. Okay, let's look at this next one. What about 45 toys for $45 toys for $90. Okay, well, here's my keyword, for. So 45 toys for $90. 45 toys for $90. Let's do one more example of a rate. So let's say 42 watts. This has to do with like your light bulbs. Okay, electricity, 42 watts used in 5 seconds. Well, here's my keyword, in. Tells me how to set up my rate. So that would be 42 watts in 5 seconds. So that's how you set up a rate. It's very, very similar to a ratio. All right, so these are just some notes on rates. The next thing I want to do is go to another page in your journal, and let's talk about unit rates. Oops, I gotta find where I put it. Unit rates.